The second thing for my father is away from that Klan crap. As far as what's going on with the taxpayer dollars being siphoned, these tax-exempt entities, I can name two off the top of my head. I looked up their 990 forms. And this is what I believe got Chad murdered. Either because he exposed the Klan and the football players went on strike. A dove detective named Katie Huddleston Smith at CPD witnessed the doctors trying to kill me by not treating me for sepsis and then falsified the medical records to hide it. Her dad was a retired physician, and luckily I got my hands on some antibiotics for fish that saved my life. Chad was killed 4 weeks later. I had no idea. The other attorneys that I was in touch with down there, they didn't say anything, but Dad, everybody thought I was going to die any minute. This tumor kept rupturing, and I was hemorrhaging. I was exploding blood all over my apartment. I filled up 2 huge trash bags full of very huge nighttime pads, saturated in blood. I was cutting up sheets to catch all of the blood. It was just everywhere. And I filled up 2 garbage bags, huge garbage bags, in 10 days, set it down to the curb. And the smell of blood was so bad that the animals came along and tore, and the neighbors said that bloody stuff was all over the yard. They said, Miss Heather, we ain't never seen so much blood in all of our lives. How are you fucking still alive? And I said, because I'm eating 10 pounds of ground beef a week, 10 pounds of turkey breast a week for the iron and the protein, and I'm eating 2 or 3 pounds of spinach, kale, bok choy, and chard a week. And I'm taking fish antibiotics, and I was still very sick. They knew I was being killed. And they knew Nanette Ward, who was in bed with the police chief and the prosecutor to maintain segregation, was part of it. And Darla was using Nanette to try to interview me. And Nanette would be like, so your dad had drugs and this and that. And she was trying to lead me into saying something. And I said, I never saw any of it. So I was testing her to see who she was working for. She was working for Munoz. My neighbor was trying to get me to, she was telling me horrible things about Beth, that Beth was part of the Medicaid fraud scam. Beth Sweeney, she's a nurse practitioner. She got pissed because she got recorded trying to hook up with me in the exam room. We weren't trying to have sex in the exam room. She was letting me know that once I had all my medical needs taken care of, she wanted to be friends. Well, I didn't know I thought she meant friends. I didn't realize that it was something that I really still don't know what's going on with that. But I ain't taking Homeland Security's word for it. They send some, not that I have a problem with him being black, but they sent a black Homeland Security agent in my face, set it up so that he could, oh, you're so pretty, I'm so in love with you, stick his fucking tongue. It's not the point that he's black. I am not going to change to straight. It's not going to happen like that. I like guys, I get along with them well, I'll screw one every once in a while. But I'm not marrying a man. Because if he does something stupid, like, Dad, you told me, all men are assholes. You're right, they are. First time they dig that whip, I'm cutting that motherfucking cock off and it's going down their throat, and we're going to have to bury the motherfucker somewhere. So I'm not going to fuck with men because I'll kill the motherfucker. One of the veterans down on campus, he said, you need to marry a veteran. And I said, you're right, I do, because my dad was a veteran. He was naval intelligence. He says, oh God. I says, I can't marry a civilian. He says, no, God, no, you'll kill him. So in veterans, they're real picky about their women. They want them to be submissive and helpless. That is not me. I'm not going to play some stupid ditzy big tit blonde lady. It's not going to happen. I lived with Date for 10 years, and we got along great. We would have got along better if I hadn't had 2 broken legs and dying from a MRSA colonization because of another University of Missouri fraud scam from back in the day. So Chad gets these records and he smells shit, and Dad, that's what he did. He was an investigator for the Department of Justice, and he answered straight to Tony West. Tony West was the assistant director of the Department of Justice, so that's pretty high up. Chad dealt with matters of national security, and he smelled shit. He knew Homeland Security let me go to prison because I was a faggot. Darla was on my Facebook. She was a friend on my Facebook when I was living at Chad. She was a friend on my Facebook before I ever got on the witness stand. That bitch told them, oh, she's a rape victim. Her daddy molested her, and her daddy's a murderer, and her daddy's this, and her daddy's that. So you can sit there, and I don't know what the fuck they told you, but the reason I went to prison was because they thought you were a murderer and I was covering for you. Because you molested me and I sexually bonded to you. And so be careful about wanting to send me to prison. Because from what I understand, you just went to jail for child molestation. I have no idea if you did it or not. But if you didn't do it, how did it feel to sit in that motherfucking jail cell for 2 days? This is how the Klan works. When I looked at my medical records, they were making criminal allegations in those medical records that I didn't even know they were making. Malingering and demanding narcotics. What's on the actual audio is me saying, you need to get this motherfucker out of me. And I was talking about the tumor once I finally found out I had it. When I found out I had it, 2 weeks later, the son of a bitch ruptured. That meant it was cancer. But anyway, they were allowed to get away with all this because Tenet bought up all these health systems, all of which are tax-exempt non-for-profits. Here in Arizona, we have Banner, that's a $15 billion a year tax-exempt. $15 billion that they make each year and don't pay taxes on. They only use about 5 to 7 billion of that money. 5 of it goes to administration. Either 3 billion or 5 billion goes to administration. Very little goes to patient care. They get that tax-exempt status by promising the IRS that the untaxed funds, the untaxed revenues, goes to pay for patient care for patients who don't qualify for Medicaid and don't have insurance. But that's not what they're doing. They're still refusing people who aren't insured. They're refusing care. And then the Medicaid, Obamacare, and private insurance patients, they're doing that unbundling shit and putting false criminal allegations and false psych, at least on the minorities. The rich white people up at the Mayo Clinic in Scottsdale, they're not getting treated like that. So they're stealing taxpayer dollars. Banner Health, just one entity, so you do the math on this in a minute. This one entity is stealing about $15 billion a year from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, from Medicaid and Obamacare and all that supplement, plus regular insurance. Then they don't pay taxes on that $15 billion. So we're talking with all, and BJC Healthcare now owns Boone Hospital Center. They're a $4.1 billion a year tax exempt. They billed me for $75,000 in emergency room bills before I ever found out I had the fucking tumor, and it wasn't them who told me it was Beth Sweeney. Then 2 weeks later, the son of a bitch ruptured. I was flat on my back. Whew, talk about pain. Then it started doing damage to the left kidney. I finally go back in there. I said, Beth, what's the point of me going in there? They're lying through their motherfucking teeth with every breath they got. I go back in there, and nobody told me. Heather, the tumor's ruptured. It's now doing damage to all those cancer cells are all in your body cavity, and they're fucking with all of your other major organs, and it's, damaging your left kidney. That's why you can't breathe. That means it's cancer. We need to do emergency surgery. They were supposed to do all that. They're supposed to get it out, start hitting you with chemo. Boom, I'd have been cured in 6 weeks. Fuck that faggoty bitch. Her daddy's a murderer. Her daddy's a child molester. She was molested. Fuck her. She's trash. That was their attitude. Thanks to Munoz and Nanette Ward and all those police officials up there. I don't know what they're telling you, but what they're telling me is basically you're a murderer and all of this other stuff. Apparently they're very afraid of what's on that video footage that's buried and the audio. They won't have a football team anymore. This shit got Chad murdered and I'm supposed to be dead. That's what I get to think about going into my 47th birthday. That my mother's way over here. She was helping me for a long time. Mom knows I'm not an addict. There are 2 medications. One of them's off the market. 2 medications that made people have... And Dad, as an ASB, if you take regular pain medicine, because I know you had a lot of broken bones and shit, take a half a dose at a time. Because if you take a whole dose, you're going to have fucking rebound pain. That's what happens to people who are autistic. And I got my autism from you and Mom. But anyway, Mom was actually defending you. Mom said you were not a violent person. You would never hit anybody, even though you were a Golden Gloves boxer. And I said, that's why he can't hit anybody. He'd kill him. So Mom knows I'm being murdered. I believe that she decided to take a settlement from MU and share it with Bob Green, which means the people who are murdering me are going to get the settlement money for murdering me, because she's going to share that money with Mary and all Bob's clan. That means Bob's clan is going to get that settlement money. So the people who are murdering me are going to be getting the settlement money that they pay to Mom back. So they are profiting from my murder in multiple ways. That's some sick shit. That's really fucking sick. I don't know. Again, I don't know what I'm going to do as far as prosecuting Beth Sweeney. She made sure she had those doctors come in there and throw it up in my face. Oh, you recorded Beth Sweeney? Beth was making criminal allegations. Her administration, which include the Medicaid director and the governor, they're the 2 law enforcement jurisdictions and law enforcement officials accusing me of crimes and sentencing me to death based on those accusations and what's on the audio. That's why they don't. Here's the thing. They're accusing me of all these crimes, and I've got all this audio of the actual medical encounters. And they're telling the police, don't listen to that audio. She didn't ask us permission. And the police are now going, but if she committed all these crimes in the exam room, why don't you want us to hear it? Why is she fighting for us to hear it? You're fighting for us not to hear it. So the police ain't even buying the bullshit anymore. They're looking at him. They're giving him the old stink eye. Like, she wants us to hear it, but you don't. But you're telling us as doctors to the police that she's the one committing the crimes. Okay. So now they're pretty much on everybody's radar at this point. There isn't anybody who doesn't want to put their foot in these health systems' asses. So when you go to the VA and there is no money and all that, it's because trillions of taxpayer dollars are being stolen by these tax-exempt systems that aren't paying taxes on the tax dollars that they're stealing. And they're paying the governors off to make sure there's no oversight through the boards of medicine. And the lawyers really ain't making that much money either. So, I would say, and it's all Citizens United shit, and that points to the president. So, we have serious issues with national security. And they're not getting Hoffer or anybody else. I'll tell that to Beth Sweeney between bouts of heavy breathing. I'll have her, or they won't have Hoffer or anybody else, and that's exactly what Beth would want.